Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, our dear friends and family. Whatever time zone this finds you in, we hope that you are well. Welcome to this week's Let's Talk Through Mark chapter 10, verses 35 through to 52. And in these verses, we have two moments, two requests, and two hearts. And one question from Jesus that cuts right through to the center of who we are. So let's picture this. Jesus and the disciples are on the road to Jerusalem, and Jesus knows exactly what is waiting for him: the suffering, the rejection, the cross. But the disciples, not so much so. And right in the middle of all this tension, two brothers step forward, James and John. And these two have a nickname. They are known as the Sons of Thunder. And you can almost hear it in that title, can't you? It's reflective of their character. They are bold, they are loud, they are passionate, they are impulsive. They are the kind of people who speak first and think later. They believe they're ready for anything. And they come to Jesus. And they directly say to Jesus that they want him to do something for them. And it's quite a gutsy request. And it's just so typical of that mindset of speaking first, engaging brain later, or coming across as, once you've given me an answer, the answer that I want to hear, I will then let you know what it is that I want or need. But Jesus doesn't roll his eyes and he doesn't shut them down. He doesn't say, like, guys, seriously? He just asks what the question is. And he responds with, what do you want me to do for you? Probably thinking the following words don't come from them. And those words were, let one of us sit at your right hand and the other at your left, in your glory, in your kingdom. And here it is so picturesque of them asking that their imaging thrones and crowns and honor and recognition, they, the Sons of Thunder, they want to matter. They want to be important. And honestly, don't we all feel like that sometimes? But Jesus gently tells them, you don't understand what you are asking, because Jesus' glory isn't a throne. It's a cross. And the people on his right and his left, they won't be disciples. They're going to be criminals. Then he asks them, can you drink the cup I drink? And can you be baptized the way that I will be baptized? And he's talking about the suffering and the sacrifice and the cost of love here. And the Sons of Thunder, bold as ever, say, yes, we can. But they don't understand. They don't understand at all. But Jesus doesn't crush them. He just says, you will drink this cup, but those seats aren't mine to give. Now imagine the other 10 disciples watching this unfold. And when they hear what James and John ask, they're furious, not because the request was wrong, but because they too They wanted the same thing. This moment exposes something in all of us. The quiet rivalry, that insecurity, the desire to be seen. So Jesus gathers them. It's like calling a family meeting, pulls them in together, and he says, you know, the rulers love to show off their power, but that's not how it's going to be with you. And then he flips greatness upside down. He says, if you want to be great, become a servant. If you want to be first, become a slave to all. Greatness in Jesus' kingdom isn't about climbing up, it's about bending down, and then he anchors it in himself. The Son of Man didn't come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. That is the heartbeat of the kingdom. They just don't know it yet, and it is easy. It is so easy as people of today, knowing with hindsight what happens to Jesus. But I can quite confidently say, if it had been me, yeah, I can understand those requests. And then we've got quite a sudden shift, really, because after this very heavy moment, the scene completely changes. Jesus is then leaving Jericho, and we've got Bartimaeus, the blind man, sitting by the road. And he's not asking for status. He's not trying to secure a throne. He is just trying to survive. He hears Jesus is passing and he cries out, shouts out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. And I want to really look at this word mercy, because it's not a casual plea. In the original language, the word is elison, the same root we hear in the ancient prayer. In Greek, it is pronounced as Kyrie eleison, Lord, have mercy. It's a word that means so much more than, I want you to feel sorry for me. This is bad. It carries a deeper sense. It's I need you to see me. I need you to see the reality of this. I need you to want to care for me. I want you to step into my suffering, to know what it is like, to not have to endure the way that I am enduring. And I need you to do something for me that I cannot do for myself. Mercy in scripture is compassion and empathy, emotion. It's love that doesn't stay distant. It's God bending toward human needs. So when Bartimaeus is crying out for mercy, shouting, it's not just asking for pity, he's asking Jesus to enter his pain and to change his reality. It's a cry of faith. It's a cry that says, I believe you can do something about this. It's not about the status. And the crowd, the same crowd that just heard Jesus talking about serving, tells him to be quiet. Sometimes the people closest to Jesus are the ones who silence the voices he wants to hear. But thankfully, Bartimaeus won't be silenced. He keeps crying out. And then Jesus stops. He stops everything. He stops the journey, the crowd, the momentum. He hears the cries and the shouts of the one man. And he calls Bartimaeus forward. And when the man stands before him, Jesus asks the exact same question he asked James and John. What do you want me to do for you? It's the same question and two completely different hearts. James and John are asking for status, and Bartimaeus is asking for mercy. James and John want to be lifted up. Bartimaeus just wants to be able to see. And he says, Teacher, I want to see. And Jesus says, Go, your faith has healed you. And he immediately sees and follows Jesus. Can you just imagine the joy that Jesus must have felt in the difference of response in these moments? And this leads me quite nicely on to discussing about open doors or open windows, whichever one you prefer. And I once heard a woman talk about a season where she kept praying to God for doors to be open. She wanted influence and opportunities and a platform. And one day she sensed God asking her gently, why do you want the doors to be open? And that's when she realized she wanted to feel significant. She wanted to be seen. Her prayer wasn't wrong, but the motives needed healing. Sometimes the thing Jesus wants to heal isn't the request, it's the desire underneath it. And I know from my own experience, I have absolutely gone from being somebody that is looking for opportunities, knocking on the door of opportunities, saying, you know, help, I would like this to happen, help, I would like that to happen, please open the doors, please open the window, whichever I use the term doors, please open the door so that this can happen. I am quite pleased to say I'm no longer that way. I now recognize that it's got nothing to do with what I want. It's all about what he wants. And I have noticed a shift in the past few years of my prayers are no longer knock knock, hello, can you open the door so that this can happen? It's now a Lord, continue to open the doors that should be opened and close the ones that need to be closed. And I apply that to all circumstances, to all situations, because I live in sacrifice of him. I give it all over because I trust him. I have seen over the years how he always comes through, maybe not in the way that we want, maybe not with the answers that we're looking for, but he always comes through. And sometimes what can be a no for now, the door closing now, doesn't mean that it won't be reopened later. You might be on a journey of development, and then that opportunity where he opens the door happens later. But it's all in his timing, not in ours. And I think it's also important that we highlight the difference in the requests that we've got here. We have got the Sons of Thunder. They have a clear want. This is something that they present Jesus with, a want. This is what we want. Whereas Bartimaeus, his isn't a want. When he's asked what it is that he wants, he isn't wanting status. He is pleading to be able to see, to just be able to see. A sense that the disciples and the crowd around him already have. And it's a stark difference, isn't it? A very stark difference. Maybe today Jesus is asking you the same question. What do you want me to do for you? Not because he doesn't know, but because naming it matters. Because bringing it into the light matters. Because sometimes he wants to reshape the desire before he answers the request. Goes back to that, you may be on a journey. Some of us come like the Sons of Thunder. I once did. Bold, ambitious, wanting certainty, wanting recognition. Some of us come like Bartimaeus, the person that I am now. Persistent and desperate for mercy through the pain. And whoever you are, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean one's right and one's wrong. It means the motive behind it. Jesus still meets you with compassion. He doesn't shame the ambitious. He doesn't ignore the desperate. He listens. He teaches and he heals. And he invites us into a kingdom where greatness looks like service and healing begins with honesty. Let's just go over that again. He doesn't shame the ambitious. He doesn't ignore the desperate. He listens. He teaches and he heals. Jesus, when we cry out for mercy, we're not asking for pity. We're asking for you, for your nearness, for your compassion that moves towards us, not away from us, for the kind of love that steps into our pain and does what we cannot do on our own. Teach us to trust that you hear the cries that others overlook. Teach us to believe, like Bartimaeus, that mercy is not weakness, it is hope. It's faith reaching out, it's the courage to say, I need you. So meet us in that place today, in the places where we're blind. Open our eyes. In the places that we're tired, lift our heads. In the places where we're afraid to speak, give us a voice that calls out anyway. Have mercy on us, O Lord, not just to change our circumstances, but to change our hearts. Amen. So we do have a couple of life application quests. So here's a simple one. Where in your life do you need to simply say, Jesus, have mercy on me, instead of trying to fix everything on your own? And if you're looking for a challenge, and this is going to be a challenge, whose cry for mercy have you been ignoring or even silencing? And what would it look like to move toward that person with compassion instead of convenience? See, it's one thing to ask for mercy. Showing mercy, being merciful, is very different. We hope that this deep dive has given you a fresh perspective on these verses. I hope that you choose to join us next week as we step into the next chapter of Mark. We would love for you to join us. As always, if you feel that these videos would benefit others, if you feel they would enjoy listening to them, then share them. There is a whole catalogue of readings and discussions, talkabouts for them to go through, for yourself to go through. But until next time, stay strong, keep smiling, and know that you are loved. Goodbye for now.